Royal Liverpool Golf Club at sunrise, a picture of calm and tranquility. This ruggedly beautiful course has been the stage for many of golf's great gladiators, with men like Bobby Jones and Tiger Woods crowned champions over the Hoylake links. In July, the club will stage the Open Championship, when the world's best players will face an examination shaped by the club's head greenkeeper, as they try their hand in the game's oldest and most revered major championship. Craig Gilholm has been in charge at Royal Liverpool for 9 years and was at the helm when the Open was last staged here in the swelteringly hot summer of 2006.
I think it's massive, you know, any big links golf course in the country that's got the history of a club like this always wanted the championship back. There's a lot more pressures now to have your golf course in a condition that golf courses weren't in 20, 30 years ago. Progress is really, it's manicure. It is basically for a major championship nowadays, it's all about manicuring. What you're seeing there just now is pretty much what the pros will see. Apart from the definition will be a bit stronger, the rough will be up through the summer months. You really just pray that everything's going to fall into place. We would love it to be maybe not quite as dry as 2006. Probably the week before the championship in 2006 we were probably in a happier place. During the championship 2006 the parameters were stretched. You know, the greens were going from 10.5 foot in the stimp meter in the morning to 13 foot in the afternoon, just on practice days, and trying to control that. Even God can't control that one. We've got our own 10 guys, including myself. I'm pretty hands-on as well. I'm not an office sort of guy yet. I've not quite reached that stage in my life yet. I like to be on the golf course every day knowing what's going on. I would hate the thought that a member would come along and say, oh, by the way, did you see such? And I'm like, no, I've been hiding in my office for 4 weeks. I don't know what's going on out there. I feel I'd be cheating the club at that point. After the championship 2006, the club were pretty happy with the outcome. You know, the first time the championship had been here since the 60s. There was an awful lot of apprehension and things like that. And there was obviously a worry that the golf course wouldn't stand up to modern golf. And obviously its length plays a big part. You know, it's a beast of a golf course, especially when the wind blows, which unfortunately the professionals never really got to experience. The winter time has been reasonably mild for the first time in 8 or 9 winters I've been here. The golf course has held up pretty well. Probably one downside was because it's been so mild, we've had a lot more golf than normal, so a little bit more wear and tear. But nothing again that's going to affect the championship. You know, that'll all recover through a nice warm, mild spring. And we're in a happy place at the moment. But again, as I've said, nature's nature. It could all change drastically through June and July.
One of the keys to hosting a successful championship is the partnership between the venue and the Open's organisers, the R&A. The planning process begins as soon as the previous Open has come to an end, with everything from hole locations to grandstand positioning and television compounds carefully considered.
It's always fascinating how you see a golf course at any other year, any other day of the year, and the infrastructure starts building from 3 or 4 months in advance, and things start popping up out of the ground. Something that's unique to Royal Liverpool is the fact that we have an 18th arena that lends itself very well to building a sort of a horseshoe shape, I suppose, and a lovely arena for the 18th hole, the 72nd hole of the championship, that sees in the region of 7,000 spectators sat in that arena, and a lovely amount of space for everything else that goes with it. A huge amount of spectators on the ground, and a village that will have wonderful aspects, wonderful views down the 18th hole come the final stages of the championship.
When I came here 9 years ago, you know, we were only 12 months away from the championship, so it was quite a quick meeting with the R&A. We put the spectator paths in, and we've kept them ever since. But this year, thinking that we were already ahead of the game, Roger and his guys came down and says, by the way, we need these 3 times the width. I thought, oh. So yeah, luckily, you know, we don't have to butcher these areas. It's just a slow takedown over a 1 to 2 year period.
It's an interesting thing, the mowing of the grass. To the golfer, obviously, you have different heights of cut, whether it's a fairway, a semi-rough, or the thick rough. To us as event organisers, with upwards of 40,000 people going around the golf course, we have to then establish areas where we're making the least amount of impact upon the environment. This is a golf course that got tremendous wildlife. It's got wildlife that will be nesting, for example, in the spring of the championship, and we need to make sure that any grass cutting is done the previous year, and as much as we possibly can, that Craig is comfortable with, obviously, and the venue itself, to ensure that we don't interfere with nesting come the spring. So it's very early planning, which we're very, very conscious of on an annual basis. Something we're repeating in 2014 is that we have the club's 16th hole as our 18th, and we actually start on the club's 17th hole. So generally, once you get onto the golf course, what you would play on a normal day as a member of the club, we would add 2 onto the whole sequence. The first contractor, as it were, to come on site is our grandstand contractor. We'll bring 20,000 seats with him, starting with the 18th arena, which is the biggest build, the first tee, and then sort of moving away from the clubhouse. And then our tentage contractor come on site, start building the various tented villages that we have, hospitality complexes, and the dress out internally of that, of course. And then June onwards, we get television to build the various camera rostra, the hoists, the TV studios, where the introduction of the show takes place in these complexes. And then, of course, the talent themselves come on site from television following the Scottish Open and step in, hopefully, with everything battened down and ready for the Open Championship.